What's going on YouTube? Global here back with another video, and today we're going to be spotlighting the Sun teams again, but this time we're going to be looking at Murkrow specifically. Now you might say, well, why are we talking about Murkrow when we're talking about Sun teams? Well, because the idea is Murkrow is able to get access to sunny days. So now the Sun teams are kind of like adapting a little bit, where previously, you saw teams like bringing Lilligant and then Torkoal as the Sun Core. But now they're changing it up a little bit. And now what they're saying is, what, Torkoal is just sometimes not so great. Sometimes it gets walled by, a lot of these meta threats, and without the Trick Room stuff, sometimes the Torkoal just isn't so good, right? So in exchange, what people have been able to do is say, what, let's get Sun from a different kind of way. We don't need Lilligant Torkoal to power up our Sun threats, right? We'll just use Murkrow now. So the idea with Murkrow is now not only are you getting Sunny Day, but now you're also getting access to Tailwind again. So a little bit more speed control, which is great because who are we powering up here with the Sunny Day, first of all? Well, I feel like you always start here when you're trying to build these Murkrow Sun teams. You're going to start with the Great Tusk, and you're also going to start with the Flutter Mane, right? And the idea now is, with Flutter Mane, it's everywhere, right? It's like on pretty much almost 80% of all these teams, and you're going to be running into these mirror matches, right? And basically the faster Flutter is always going to win most times than not. So then how do you get the speed control over the Flutter Mane, right? You can't just always rely on a booster energy, right? Because what if they also have a booster energy, right? So then things get a little bit more tricky. But now if you have access to Murkrow's Tailwind, right? Now you can pretty much ensure that you're going to outspeed their Flutter Mane because they don't have access to Tailwind, right? Now, not saying that, you're going to play teams that don't have, Flutter Mane with Tailwind stuff, but at the very least, most times you're going to be playing against them that don't have this priority Tailwind stuff, right? So with access to Sunny Day, now the Great Tusk and the Flutter Mane are able to get stronger. You're going to get a special attack boost on your Flutter Mane, and the Great Tusk will also get a special attack boost, right? I'm sorry, a regular attack boost. And then what's also great about the Great Tusk here is you're able to Earthquake next to the Murkrow. Similarly, the Talonflame idea where you just have a flying type paired next to the Great Tusk, and you can Earthquake next to it, and there's a little bit of synergy there, right? So then but this is our core, right, with the Murkrow stuff. And then not only that, but Murkrow also gets access to Haze, so now you're able to have at least something for the Dondozo stuff, just to wipe away their boosts. And also if things want to intimidate your Great Tusk, like an opposing Gyarados or Arcanine, you can haze away those Intimidate debuffs as well, right? And if for other reasons, like maybe an Iron Bundle comes in and clicks Icy Wind and reduces your speed, you can also haze those away as well, right? So the different utility coming from these haze boosts, right? So then from here, where do you want to go? So I feel like with a lot of these Sun teams, it can go a lot of different ways, but I feel like you always start here. So if we take a look at some recent tournaments, okay, well, for example, this Lily of the Valley April Challenge was just a couple of days ago. You can see that within the top 8, you have 4 Murkrow teams, and they're not necessarily like Sun teams, but they're just like, providing, great support for the team that not only boosts the Flutter Mane, but boosts a partner like Chiyu, for example. So let's look at some of these teams. First of all, it's on the winning team over here. Let's look at Mava's team. So this is on a Garchomp team, which also makes sense. It's like the Great Tusk where you have a ground type that can click Earthquake next to it. Again, Goldango Murkrow was also a kind of an archetype back in Series 1 where, you're just able to haze away these, these Make It Rain debuffs after you click it. And of course, there is Nasty Plot here. And then Qianpao just makes Garchomp hit relatively hard. And then Terra Flying, where you can just also have another target where, you can just Earthquake next to it, right? So pretty cool team. Standard, Dragon Fairy Steel kind of stuff with Garchomp, Azumarill, and Goldango. Then if we look at another team over here from Resto, see, this is what I'm talking about, right? So you have Murkrow, Flutter Mane, and Great Tusk. You always start with these 3 technically. Same kind of idea. You're just powering these 2 up. And then you can also power up your Roaring Moon, which is actually really, really smart. And then here's your Chiyu, for example, right? Again, the Chiyu benefits from Sun. You can have harder hitting Heat Waves and, single target move like either Overheat or Flamethrower. And then at the same time, you're also powering up your Flutter Mane because you're reducing, special defenses. So now you're just hitting really, really hard as well. So Chiyu fits in nicely with these kinds of Sun teams. We did this when we released one of those early rentals. And then Arcanine here is just providing additional support in general, right? So super cool team from Vesu over here. Makes a lot of sense. So you have 1, 2, 3 things technically 4 that can very much benefit from a Murkrow Sun team. Roaring Moon's actually pretty good right now, so definitely consider something like this. Then if you go down to our boy Jonathan Zuniga over here, aka Jonzu, so again another similar idea with Murkrow, Flutter Mane, and instead of Great Tusk he has a Garchomp over here, but you know, same idea. Here's the Chi-Yu once again, and then here's a Gyarados, you know, instead of an Arcanine, for example. You know, again, another target that you can Earthquake next to, because, you know, Garchomp, Gyarados have had synergy in the past, and now this Murkrow, you know, sometimes was a Talonflame, but again, you know, same kind of concept, right? And then here's an Iron Bundle for a little bit more speed control with Icy Wind, and then, of course, there's the Encore stuff, you know, to deny certain setup moves, right? Oh, this Chi-Yu has Ruination. Okay, Jonathan, okay, I see you. All right, and then if we go down here, another top 8 squad from Lati, Japanese player, it looks like. So yeah, similar idea. Again, the same thing, right? Same kind of core idea. And instead of, you know, with these 4, now you have Dragonite Chien-Pao. So, you know, now again, another target you can Earthquake next to because Dragonite's a flying type. And then Chien-Pao just makes your Great Tusk and your Dragonite and also itself do a little bit more damage. So this makes a lot of sense here. I like how the way they do this. But then if you go down, you can find a few more. This is a big tournament. This is a 100+ tournament. This is going on the same time as the UIC. So if you want, you can scroll down and find some other Murkrow teams. But at the very least, I just wanted to point out over here that there was 4 of them in the top 8. So it makes a lot of sense there. And then even before this tournament, or even before EUIC, the Murkrow teams were on the rise. They were starting to develop and, you know, come up with this hyper-aggressive kind of playstyle. If we take a look at this one, you know, the EUIC prep tournament, there's another one over here from Roundchu. Okay, that's what it looks like over here. So, you know, same idea. Here's a bundle. Here's a Great Tusk. Now you add Scissor over here, which is an interesting kind of concept here. With Bullet Punch, Fate, U-Turn. Oh, Quick Guard. See, some Talonflames have begun to run Quick Guard, you know, just for, like, you know, the priority stuff. So this is actually, I didn't know Scissor got Quick Guard. Okay, this is actually really, really smart. I like that. Then if you go here into the Sprout Tower Weekly, you know, number 10, it looks like they've been doing quite a bit. Here's a couple actually. So same thing, you know, same kind of 6 that we saw previously, Dragonite Chien-Pao along with the other core 4. And then over here, down here, 3 and 3, again, but still similar idea. Here's the Corviknight, along with the Murkrow, which is actually interesting enough. So instead of another dragon or another type of flying type like another Gyarados, oh, you actually have the Gyarados here too. So 3 targets that you can Earthquake next to. Very interesting. All right. And then let's look at one more kind of tournament, the Duran's TV tournament over here. I believe there was a Murkrow. Yep, right here. So Mari, 5 and 3, pretty good top 8. Right. If I click here, this is a Dondozo variant. So Dondozo Tatsugiri. Here's Murkrow, here's Flutter Mane, here's Chi-Yu, Great Tusk. The same 4, right? And you might as well just add that over here while we're at it, right? So Great Tusk, Flutter Mane, Chi-Yu. This is the core 4, right? And then you have like your 2 fillers, right? So if you're interested in like building a Murkrow Sun team like this, I would just start with these 4, right? And that's what we're gonna do, you know, just to round out, you know, just a little bit of a team building here. Just give you guys a team that you can always use and test out, you know, for yourself. But this is the idea, right? So you've seen the success that it has in some tournament play. And now what we're going to do is we're going to build around these 4. We're going to show you all the items, the EVs, the move sets, and of course the Terra options. So this way you too can try out your own Sun team. And again, we'll probably put this out as a rental eventually, maybe towards the beginning of May, right? When I release another 4 or 5 rentals. But at the very least, here's your Pokebase. So this week you can go ahead and try it out. All right, so let's finish off the team here. So we'll reveal the Chi-Yu, the Flutter Mane, and of course the Great Tusk as our core 4, and then the other 2 options, we're just going to round it out here. All right, so for the other 2 options here, I'm just going to keep it relatively standard and consistent here. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel or change the formula. I'm just simply going to do what has been proven and what has been successful. Let's do Dragonite Chien-Pao here. Again, with these 2, you're just adding another flying type that you can Earthquake next. So I feel like when you have like a Garchomp or a Great Tusk here, I feel like 2 targets is necessary, not just only Murkrow. So either you have another flying type here, or you have something that can also do like Terra Flying, like your Chien-Pao over here can technically do Terra Flying. But at the very least, you know, Dragonite fits the bill here. And watch how we're still going to focus on cores here. Like you guys know how I do my team building videos. I always like to do, you know, the balance stuff with Dragon, Fairy, Steel, Fire, Water, Grass. And we're still going to be able to do that here, but just watch how we do it. All right, so Murkrow here, we're going to start with the Tailwind Haze. Sunny Day, and of course we gotta have an attacking move. So Foul plays the way. Here's the Eviolite here, just add a little bit of bulk. I know Murkrow's bulk is not all that great, but the Eviolite, believe it or not, can still do a little bit of damage. Not damage, but like reduce damage, you know, believe it or not. But again, we're just gonna be like a super bulky Murkrow, and again, its job is not to like deal damage, it's just to like use these support moves and enable its partners, right? That's the role of Murkrow on its team. All right. Speaking of, I just want to reveal the Dragonite and Chien-Pao GIF real quick before we proceed. But here's the Great Tusk here. So Earthquake, Headlong Rush, and Close Combat are relatively standard. Your last move here is going to be Rock Slide. And the reason for a fourth move rather than Protect is I'm going to be going with the Choice Scarf here. So this way you can have a little bit more speed control on your side and not be like completely reliant on the Tailwind stuff. And because of this, you know, you can imagine, because we already have like a Choice Scarf here, you can technically go like Adamant along with the Tailwind stuff. So you can get, you know, an attack boost already anyway. And then, you know, just, you know, sweep. Okay. Now, over here, Flutter Mane, you can go either the Choice Specs variant, or you can even do like Booster Energy just to get a little bit more damage as well. So I feel like both items are fine. It just really depends on how you want to play it. But for now, I'm just going to go Choice Specs here. Just for, you know, because like Choice Specs is really good. And the extra fourth move is actually going to be relatively clutch here, I would say. So Choice Scarf and Choice Specs. And again, if you don't like running two choice items, what I would do is just go with the Booster Energy and then just put Protect in this last slot over here and just go relatively standard with like Dazzling Gleam, Moonblast, and Shadow Ball. But if you do this, you do need something for like an opposing Gyarados. And this is where you're going to start to have Thunder Punch on your Dragonite as another tech move. But if you decide to, you know, maybe fit in Thunderbolt over here instead of one of these fairy moves, then you don't have to run Thunder Punch, right? But because we don't have that option here, we're going to go ahead and put Thunder Punch on the Dragonite if you go with the Booster Energy route, all right? But if you don't, if you're going to go with the Choice Specs here, then you don't need Protect, obviously, and then you can definitely do Thunderbolt over here. And then now you don't need Thunder Punch on your Dragonite, and then you can do something else, right? But here is relatively standard. And again, we'll do all the Terra options at the end, but I just want to set aside the template first. Okay, Chi-Yu, I want to be aggressive. I want to have Life Orb here. I got to have Protect. I got to have one Pokemon with Protect, right? All right, so then we're going to have Heat Wave, you know, our spread damage. Then we're going to have Dark Pulse, of course, you know, another trademark stab move that Chi-Yu has. Really good at causing flinches, you know, whenever you can get the chance. And then, you know, just overall like a big hitting fire move. Overheat does a lot of damage with Life Orb, and in the sun, just blow something up, right? That's Chi-Yu's job. Blow something up and then, you know, just go from there. Then the Dragonite over here. So Dragonite, again, you can go a couple of routes. You can technically do like an Assault Vest variant here, where you can just like make this Dragonite super bulky and, you know, rely on the damage boost that you're going to get from Chien-Pao. For that matter, you can technically go that route. You can also go with the Lumberry, where, you know, you can dodge like potential Arcanine Willows for at least a turn and go that route. Or you can just simply go with the Choice Band variant. And that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go with Choice Band here. I typically don't really use Choice Band Dragonite, but I feel like for a team like this, we're just going to be like super hyper aggressive and just go all out with our offense here, which I know some of you like and probably request a bunch of times. So here it is. But again, I'm also showing you that you have other options to build this Dragonite. You don't have to do Choice Band. But for the sake of the video, I'll just pick one item, and I'm picking the Choice Band. Terra Blast and Extreme Speed, of course, are your staples. You gotta have Low Kick here. It's pretty good. This one-shots King Gambit, I believe. And then for your fourth move, you can do a couple things, right? You can technically do like Outrage here, which also works with the Lumberry, might I add, right? Because when you have Outrage, and then eventually you're gonna get confused, but then you just eat the Lumberry, and then you're totally fine, right? But other than that, I think you can go another move. I like Facade, actually. So if I'm going to go Facade, I don't need the Lumberry. I'm going to go with my Choice Band here. So this way, if the Arcanine decides to burn me, all right, then I have a base 150 damage move, right? Because read what it said, power doubles if the user is burned or poisoned, right? So I'm thinking like Lamora stuff. So if that happens, then I'm just going to be clicking Facade, and it's going to hurt a lot, right? Then Chien-Pao over here. So Focus Sash, of course. And we're gonna go with Ice Spinner and Sucker Punch. That's Ice Fang. Hold on, Ice Spinner. Okay, and then Protect, of course. And then this last slot, we're gonna steal a page from Justin Knox, aka 4005 Mice, and we're gonna go with Taunt. And I do agree with Justin, what he said in our collaboration video. Mungus can be relatively annoying. Okay, I know you have a lot of ways to remove it, where like you can just blow it up with Chiyu. You can use, you know, Terra Blast, Terra Flying Dragonite, and just, you know, rip it to shreds. And also you have an Ice Spinner. So you have multiple tools. But then what happens if the Amoonguss goes Terra Water, right? Then you're in trouble, and then you're subjected to like Rage Powder, you know, Spore shenanigans. So let's go ahead and taunt it. Okay, and taunt is also relatively nice against like maybe things that want to click Trick Room, for example, or maybe another Tailwind user. You can also deny them that. So I like taunt over here. Makes a lot of sense. And by the way, if you're wondering how like teams like this can like counter against like Trick Room stuff, I have not seen a Trick Room team in days. Like, it is a desert out there for the Trick Room stuff in regulationC. Like, I have not seen Armarouge or Hatterene in days. Okay, so, you know, go figure. And honestly, you just lead these two and just blow up whatever Trick Room kind of setter they want. Like, who's taking a Chiyu Flutter Mane lead with like Dazzling Gleam and like Heat Wave stuff, right? I don't know too many of those, right? So don't worry about the Trick Room stuff. You can just pretty much either deny them with taunt, or, you know, just do so much damage that they're just not able to set it up, right? That's the idea there. Or just get Rock Slide flinch, right? You know, when in doubt, just do the Aldrich rule, just do like Rock Slide and just get the flinch, right? Along with Dark Pulse potentially. So this is the 6, and I'm gonna do the Terra options now. So I like Murkrow here as Terra Ghost. I feel like Terra Ghost makes a lot of sense here, so this way you can dodge the potential fake out stuff. The Great Tusk over here, I'm gonna go with Terra Steel for a couple of reasons. One, it resists the Flutter Mane fairy damage, and 2, it also resists the flying type attacks, like maybe another Dragonite that's clicking, you know, Terra Blast, Terra Flying, or a Roaring Moon Acrobatics for that matter. So Terra Steel resists both of those, so I feel like it makes a lot of sense here. And then the Flutter Mane here, I like Terra Water, believe it or not. Defensive Terra is really, really clutch and smart on Flutter Mane sometimes. So this will make the Shadow Ball damage neutralized, you know, if you're going against another Ghost type, like another opposing Flutter Mane. And then, you know, the Steel type damage also gets resisted, right? Because you have a Water Terra here. So you remove that weakness essentially. So Water Terra, really, really good in terms of defensive Terra. And then Chiyu, we're going to go Terra Grass. So this is also another way how you get around Amoonguss. So not only do you do taunt on your Chien-Pao here, but you can also just go Terra Grass, and then you don't care about Rage Powder, and then you don't get spored, and then you just blow it up with like this Heat Wave overheat stuff, for example. All right, and of course the Grass is also in a way a defensive Terra, because what you're doing now is if they want to click a water type attack on your Chiyu, you know, you're just gonna turn that into a neutral hit, and also the fighting weakness also gets neutralized by going with Terra Grass, right? Dragonite, of course, Terra Flying, because we have Terra Blast, extreme speed stuff, and then Chien-Pao here. I do like Terra Ghost at the end of the day. You can technically go Terra Flying, where Flying has a couple of uses here where you can just Earthquake next to it, or, you know, you make your fighting weakness neutralized because you're a flying type now. So if you want to go Terra Flying, you can definitely do that as well. It can come in clutch because like Great Tusk next to Terra Flying Chien-Pao is actually kind of fun, believe it or not. So actually, you know what? I'm gonna leave it as Terra Flying, right? But if you like Terra Ghost, definitely consider it. But Ghost is also useful, right? You don't get your sash broken. But Terra Flying is actually kind of clutch here. So you know what? I'm gonna keep it as Terra Flying just because. Okay, so we got everything here. So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do like a very simple EV spread for all these mods. All right, so let's go back over here to Murkrow. Okay, so Murkrow here, I feel like you always just want to max out the HP, right? Because this thing is not very bulky at all. Base 60 HP is just not all that great. So you definitely want to at least max that. You can go either Bolt here, you know, just for like an extra defense boost, or you can definitely go something like Careful or even Calm, right? I feel like either way, you're going for a defensive Terra. You don't need any attack or speed for that matter. We're going to leave speed at 0 because you have a bunch of Prankster priority moves. So with the bold nature, I'm just going to go for the EV benchmark over here, right? And again, if you don't know what EV bumps are or what EV benchmarks are, feel free to comment in the video. I feel like I ask this in every single video, and I try to show you step by step by moving the slider, but for some reason you guys aren't watching, but that's okay. I'm here to show it again. So notice here that when we start from 0, right? And when you move the slider, the stat will always increase, right? But there's going to be points where this stat increases by 2 points instead of 1, right? So watch as I move it slowly, and then you'll see where these EV bumps and benchmarks are, right? So I'm still moving it slowly, And right away, we're going to see the first one almost there. And here it is, right? Okay, 88. So you see how you go from 86 to 88, right? You see how it goes from 2 points instead of 1. This is what we call a benchmark here. And it's with every 80 EV. So the first one was, I believe, at 40. I think I skipped it, right? So 74, right? 73, right? Oh, actually, I missed it, right? Oh, right here. So 75 to 77, right? So here is the first bump, okay? So then 60 plus 80 will give you 140. So it's every 80 EVs after the first bump that you'll see the stat increase by 2 points. So 60 plus 80 is 140. So right here, this is the benchmark, okay? Then this is just like leftovers, and then it just goes into special defense, all right? The Great Tusk here, you can just go simply Jolly, just to like, be super fast and super aggressive. You don't really need to think too much here with the Choice Scarf. Great Tusk here. If you want to go Adamant, because you already have a Choice Scarf here, you can, and then just rely on Murkrow with the Tailwind stuff. But I feel like you don't really need Adamant. I feel like a little bit more speed is important because you're going to get the boost anyway from Sunny Day, and I feel like that's all you really need because base 131 attack is actually really strong. Flutter Mane here, we have a choice specs already, but I'm still going to go Modest Nature here. Okay, and I'm going to be going max speed modest because a lot of these Flutter Manes, what they're doing is they're going about 124 or 132 investment. This is just to outspeed opposing Garchomps, and then they make this like relatively bulky. And then what I used to do is like, oh, let me speed creep them and go to 175 because this will outspeed Adamant 252 speed Dondozos. So you can also go that route. But at the end, all these Flutter Manes are slower and bulkier. So if you want to win the speed tie, you can just do this. Just go max speed modest, all right, and then go to the second bump here with the special attack here. And you might say, well, they're equal now, so which boost am I getting? You're always going to get the special attack boost in this case because your natured stat is modest. If it was timid and they were both the same, you would get the speed boost, right? But in this case, because they're the same, you're getting a modest boost. All right, then from here, you just need this much bulk, right? This is what I call the Neil spread. When he revealed this, when we did our collaboration video where you're just able to take at least one Palafin Jet Punch non-Terra, which is actually okay. Then over here, the Chiyu. All right, so the Chiyu, I just want to go like max speed timid, just be the fastest Chiyu possible. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of Life Orb optimization. I always want to end in a 9 when I have the Life Orb over here, and then just put 1 point in the bulk, and then the rest just goes into special attack like this. All right. Then the Dragonite over here. So here's what people are doing with Dragonite. This is the normal standard Dragonite spread. They're going to go max speed like this. They're going to go put 1 point in the bulk. They're going to go about 60 speed like this. And then, just go the rest into HP, right? And the reason for this is because, under Tailwind, at the 107 mark, you're going to outspeed Dragapult. So that's very convenient. But then they just go 1 point above and go to 108 just so you do what's called speed creeping. And you're more than welcome to do this. But, I kind of want to outspeed these Dragonites too, right? Because Dragonite's so common. So here's what we're going to do. We're actually just going to drop his attack a little bit. We're going to go to 204. I feel like, because we have a choice band, we can definitely afford this. And then just go a little bit faster on our Dragonite. First, I'm going to bump it to 191 just to optimize this against like Tyranitar Sand stuff. Because divided by 16, it will be 11.9. And it'll just round down to 11. Whereas if I did this, it'll just be 12 damage per turn. So I don't want to do that. I want to keep it at 191 for that, undercutting the threshold for that. And then just put the rest in speed, right? I just want to outspeed those Dragonites that are just speed creeping each other, right? So I'm still hitting the third benchmark, the third bump here in the attack stat for Dragonite. See how you go from 196 to 198. All right, so I skipped 197. So there's our bump there. And then I just want to go 100 speed here just to outspeed them. All right, Chien-Pao is as basic as it comes. 252, 252, Jolly. Nothing else needs to be said over there. And just be the fastest Chien-Pao possible, right? And there's nothing else you want out of your Chien-Pao in this case, right? So here it is. This is a very general Murkrow Sun team. We stuck to the blueprints here. We stuck to the formula that works. And here's a squad that you can use right now on Showdown Ladder. And then, just test it out, see how you like it. If you want to use it in a tournament, go for it. I'm guaranteed you're going to get good results. It's very strong, very aggressive. And again, I showed you some different adaptations and modifications here where like you can go booster energy with protect if you don't want to run 2 choice items. You can definitely go assault vest on either Great Tusk or Dragonite for that matter, you know, you can definitely consider that. Opt for more bulk, and you can definitely do like Lumberry on the Dragonite as well, along with Protect for that matter. But I feel like, again, if you're gonna remove Thunderbolt here because you're not gonna be running choice specs here, then you definitely have to do like Thunder Punch on Dragonite, because otherwise the Gyarados matchup gets a little bit trickier. But other than that, as long as you have your electric coverage, then you're kind of fine. All right, so if this is something you're interested in, if you want to do team building, if you're stuck somewhere, if you want to get started, if you need a little bit of help, again, we have just close to 80 tier subs on the channel for team building. That is insane. A lot of you have done coaching, and that's what I'm gonna suggest now. So if you're interested in team building with me, and you want to schedule a one-on-one coaching session for team building for regulationC, check out our link in the channel. If you look in the video description, there is a link to join the channel for a tier 3 sub, or if you look in the comment section, there is a pinned comment where you can click that link and join with that tier 3 sub. Or every single video has a join button where if you join the channel under the tier 3 sub, same idea, you know, same way, same access. 3 different ways to get a one-on-one session with me. And once you do, you're free to message me on Discord, and then from there we coordinate a time where you and I meet, and then we build the team like this, you know, straight up from scratch with these EV spreads, and we get you that team that you want, for whether it's for ladder, a tournament, or regional, international championship, whatever. We've had a lot of success. We've always sent people, you know, with relatively positive records overall, so that's always very much it makes me happy, right? Because it means money well spent. All right, but anyway, that'll do it for now, folks. We'll be back with another video in the next one. Peace out and have a good night.